Com calma.
Calma, isso, tá bom. Cristaliza, né? So far, vamos ver. Um good glass forming. E aquele tá cheio de bolha.
Ele já estava cheio de bolha na peça.
Edgar Zanotto is a name that resonates with excellence and innovation in glass science. With a career spanning several decades, he has dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries of amorphous materials and pushing the boundaries of scientific knowledge forward. Stay tuned and enjoy this engaging interview with Professor Edgar Zanotto. Hello everyone, I'm Mojtaba. Welcome to the first episode of A Sip of Chemistry. Today, I'm delightful to have the opportunity to talk to an exceptional researchers who have made significant contributions to the field of glass science. He is the director of the CERTEV, Center for Research, Technology and Education in Vitreous Materials here at UFSCar. Under his leadership, CERTEV has succeeded as a hub of innovation and knowledge exchange, driving breakthroughs in the fascinating realm of vitreous materials. In addition, he serves as the editor of the prestigious Journal of Non-Crystalline Solids, a leading publication in the field of amorphous materials. But today, we are not only going to explore his professional accomplishments, we are eager to discover what makes Edgar Zanotto a person who is beyond the lab. Without further ado, let's go and have a friendly conversation with Professor Edgar Zanotto.
Hey, Professor.
Mojtaba, how are you?
Thank you.
Come in.
Yeah, come.
Can you tell us about your education and academic background and tell us how did you become interested in glass science?
My interest in glass science and technology started in 1976. I was an undergrad and we had a visiting professor, O.J. Whitmore from the University of Washington here at the Federal University of São Carlos. And he was interested in the chemical durability of nuclear waste disposal glasses. So I had this internship, we call here in Brazil, scientific initiation project, 12 hours per week, working on this particular problem. And that's how I was first introduced to glass, And I started to read articles and discuss with this professor, and so I became interested.
Please tell us your main focus and research interest in the glass science.
Yeah, my main research topic has always been understanding the details of crystal nucleation, crystal growth, glass crystallization. That's always been my major topic. Although I do some other things also, but understanding this phenomenon and trying to control it to obtain glass ceramics, this is my focus.
Awesome, great. Yeah, it seems interesting. It seems quite interesting to me as well. So you published an article in 2017 about the definition of a glass. Please tell us the motivation for that publication and what's really glass?
Yeah, that's a very tough question. Actually, I have been working for 46 years with glasses, and that question always come up in classes or seminars or conferences. So I think, in my opinion, and my co-author's opinion, John Mauro, professor at Penn State, is that glasses are non-equilibrium materials. They're unstable materials that continuously relax towards the supercool liquid state. And at some stage in their lives, and that stage will depend on the glass composition and the actual temperature, they will finally crystallize to achieve a thermodynamic equilibrium. The structure of glasses is the same as the structure of their parent liquids. So glasses are actually temporarily frozen liquids. They are neither a true solid, neither a true liquid. They are intermediate materials.
Yeah, we are dealing with glasses in our daily life. It looks simple, but it doesn't look simple from a scientific perspective, isn't it?
Well, they're intrinsically complex because, as I said, the structure is non-crystalline. You know, that they resemble the structure of liquids. So this amorphicity makes our lives, glass scientists, very challenging, but at the same time difficult. You know, the motivating but difficult because of this intrinsic disorganization of the structure. Also, they are relaxing all the time.
Yeah.
So the structure actually changes all the time. Depending on the temperature you are studying, this relaxation time can be very short or extremely long.
Cracking the Cosmon Paradox. That's the title of an article you published quite recently. Please tell us about the theory and what was your approach in this article, approving or disapproving his idea.
Yeah, you know, the Cosmon Paradox was formulated in 1948 by Walter Cosmon, a professor at Princeton, and became a very famous, perhaps the most famous glass paradox. And he says, Cosmon said that if you supercool a liquid very slowly before it vitrifies, at some stage, the entropy of this liquid will be equal to the entropy of the crystal phase. This idea of Cosmon Paradox has been motivating the glass community to do a lot of research, and there are maybe over 300 papers published in very good journals, many of them about the paradox. The idea is that we reviewed in this paper that you mentioned the most relevant papers on the topic and concluded that there is no evidence at all, strong evidence about the paradox. And from my own part, we did some work on calculating the time it takes to crystallize a supercool liquid versus the relaxation time to become a glass.
Interesting.
At the Cosmon temperature. And the time for crystallization for several substances is always shorter. So any supercooled liquid that would cool slowly enough to reach the Cosmon temperature would crystallize first. So you cannot have a glass with the same entropy as the crystal, because the crystal will precipitate before a glass can be formed at such low temperatures. That's one of the explanations. There are other in the paper, but that's enough for today.
Yeah, I see. I see. Thank you. Thank you for your explanation. Yeah, also, I would like to ask about the Certev and Lamov. Um, Please tell us how they were born and what does a researcher do here?
Well, the LAMAV, the Vitreous Materials Laboratory, started when I was hired as an as an assistant professor in 1977. And being interested in glass, I talked to the head of the department and said, well, this is a materials engineering department and somebody has to work on glasses and the glass group has to be nucleated. So I nucleated this glass group in 1977. And then I was sent from my department. I was already a professor, an assistant professor here, but I was sent to England, to the University of Sheffield, to do a PhD in glass, because that was the major center at that time. And I spent 3 years in Sheffield and working on glasses. And then I came back here and really crystallized, the LAMAV, the glass lab. Yeah. The CERTEV started in 2013 when I decided to join forces with other colleagues that were working on glass in the physics and chemistry department, and also in the other university, the University of São Paulo, because we are lucky enough to have 2 universities in São Carlos, a state university and a federal university. So I found 14 people working in different departments in the 2 universities. So we joined forces and started the CERTEV, the Center for Research, Education, Technology in Vitreous Materials. And luckily we had the funding of the state agency FAPESP for 11 years. So this is the 10th year. We still have 1 more year to go with a continuous funding for 11 years.
Okay, so you've been the principal investigators for both of them, the founder for both of them.
Yes, I started both of them.
Okay, awesome. What do you think are some of the most exciting developments happening in the field of glass science these days?
Well, of course, there are several sub-areas. There are lots of activity on bioglasses, on glasses for batteries, ionic conducting materials, non-linear optical glasses, luminescent glasses on optical properties, on mechanical properties. People were trying hard to develop stronger and stronger or harder glasses and so on. In more basic science, novel methods of studying glass structure, glass spectroscopy methods. But I'm really excited about the use of machine learning. This is my most recent sub area, let's say. And machine learning is very interesting and very adequate for the study of glasses. So I think we are experienced exciting discoveries recently using machine learning techniques and also a lot of atomistic simulation techniques, molecular dynamic simulation. So the power of computers and algorithms have increased a lot, and so did the instrumentation, new methods, new equipment, much more powerful equipment using synchrotron sources and stuff like that all together are bringing a lot of new discoveries in the field of glass.
Yeah, speaking of machine learning and artificial intelligence, AI is a hot topic nowadays, and wherever you go, people are talking about it. You have a publication about designing new glasses by machine learning in 2021 with 2 postdocs at the time, Daniel Kassar and Giselle Guimaras. Please tell us about this publication and the future of glass science and AI.
Yeah, I love this area because being amorphous materials, or non-crystalline materials, there's a strong relationship between the chemical composition and almost all properties. This is different from crystals. Polycrystalline materials Of course, their properties depend on the chemical composition, but also depend a lot on the microstructure.
Yeah.
Glasses in general do not have a microstructure. So there is a direct correlation between chemical composition and properties. That's very useful from a machine learning point of view, because if you measure any property and you have the glass composition, then you have one data point for training, and you measure for another and for another. So there are hundred thousands of composition property relations reported in the literature. So we use all those literature data for training different machine learning models, algorithms, and then we can have insights about these relationships and then do the inverse path. I mean, you can ask yourself some question. Hey, I want a glass with a very high refractive index, very low thermal expansion coefficient, and very low density or high TG. Which composition will give such combination of properties? This is the kind of work we are doing at the moment. And of course, many of the industries are also extremely interested in these kind of questions.
Yeah, it quite seems interesting to me. You've been a professor at UFSCar for many years. Would you tell us what have been some of the most memorable projects you've worked on during this time here?
Well, this is an interesting but tough question, because I have published a few hundred papers. So it's tough to choose my favorite papers, but let me mention a couple to you. One that I like very much is a paper we did maybe 25 years ago with Larry Hench, the inventor of bioglass. Larry Hench came to this lab years ago, and he was interested, he spent a week here, and he was interested in crystallizing his famous bioglass 45S5 to improve the mechanical properties without losing the bioactivity. So we worked together for several years, and we developed a new material, modifying a little bit the chemical composition of bioglass, and also crystallizing in a controlled way this bioglass. And we developed what is called today biosilicate. It's a glass ceramic, which is much stronger than bioglass, but has about the same level of bioactivity. So this is a paper that I like very much, published in the Journal of Non-Crystalline Solids. This is another that I like, published in the American Journal of Physics. It's two consecutive papers about the flow of Catino glasses. You might have heard that old Catino window glasses are thicker at the bottom than in the upper parts. And that supposedly is a proof that glass flows slowly with the time. That's why they became thicker at the bottom.
So interesting.
Yeah, this is a very interesting idea. It's published in several books, but it's incorrect. And we have proven that in 1908 something, that 1998, I think, that it will take much longer. Glass flows at room temperature, but it takes the age of the universe or so for a regular window glass to flow at room temperature. It cannot flow in 500 years or 1,000 years, you know.
Okay.
So that idea is incorrect. And I like the two papers that we published in 1998, I think, about this this phenomenon. So these are two papers, and third paper that you have mentioned briefly is the definition, a modern definition of glass.
Yes, yeah.
I think that's one of my favorites. You know, the modern definition of glass that I have already explained to you.
Yeah. I read that article. Yeah. You graduated from University of Sheffield in 1982, more than 40 years ago. How have doing research generally changed since then?
Yes, since my PhD times, I think the major changes are, as I said, the equipment. You have like, if you take an NMR 40 years ago in a modern NMR, I mean, the level of resolution is unbelievable. It's much better. The electron microscopes, the X-ray diffraction unities, synchrotron sources all over the place. Even here in Brazil, we have a very powerful, very important synchrotron laboratory. Spectroscopic techniques, laser-based techniques. There are many advanced techniques that were not available 40 years ago, and computer simulation techniques majorly. They barely exist. Artificial intelligence, for instance, was non-existent those days. So there are many exciting things related to powerful computer techniques for simulations and instrumentation. I think these are the major drivers of glass science and many other sciences, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree that the instrumentations has changed a lot since then. Yeah. As far as I know, glass has a long scientific history. More than 100 years ago, please correct me if I'm wrong. What concepts has not been still resolved very well in this science?
Well, one of them we have already briefly discussed is the Cosmon Paradox. The Cosmon Paradox has been around for 80 years, and there are still people messing around with this idea and publishing papers. So I hope that our recent paper that was published this week, actually, Acta Materialia, cracks this problem. But so far it's been there. Crystal nucleation, crystal growth models, glass forming ability, there are models around, but none of them is perfect. There are lots of discussion about the phase transformation models, how good they are, and what are their problems, and why we don't understand exactly this phenomena yet. Glass relaxation, all glasses relax. Glass relaxation, it's part of the glass, of the definition of glass, but there's a lot of discussion about the actual structural rearrangements that take place when a glass is relaxing. And then regarding properties, there's many groups all over the planet working on trying to really completely understand what drives all the glass properties, and to develop glasses with optimized values of, say, chemical durability or ionic conductivity and things like that, or bioactivity, for instance. So there's still a lot of ground to cover on in understanding the intricate atomistic details, and then developing glasses with optimized properties.
Exactly, yeah. So let's talk about something other than science and research. What's your favorite hobby and pastime outside your work in material science?
Yeah, well, my favorite hobby, as you can see, well, I hope I have here, golf clubs. I play
Awesome.
golf. So there is a golf course 3 minutes from this lab here. It takes 3 minutes or
Yeah.
4 minutes maybe from here to the golf course, the nearest golf course. So I play a lot of golf
Great.
late in the afternoons or so, 2 or 3 times a week, from 5 to 7 in the afternoon. So I play golf. This is my main hobby.
Do you play professionally or
No,
just
no,
for
no,
fun?
no. I'm just a senior player, a bogey player, and with my colleagues and so on. But I also do some gardening. You know, I have a country house also. So I do a lot of gardening on weekends
Great.
and things like that. In summer, especially, I do gardening also.
In Brazil, it should be great. Gardening, I mean, the weather here it's favorable for doing this stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. I love the weather here in São Carlos, especially the weather in São Carlos is, you know, the average temperature year long is 25 degrees Celsius.
Pleasant. Yeah.
It's very pleasant. Yeah. There's a lot of rain, there's a lot of sun at the same time. So it's very good for gardening.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's great to have raining and sun at the same time, and both of them too much, I would say.
Yeah.
What's your favorite book or movie? And please tell us about.
I don't read many books because I read a lot of papers and I'm normally tired in the evening to read books.
Yeah.
So I read a lot of papers, scientific literature, but I watch movies. You know, I love Netflix and things like that. I love movies and especially on TV these days. You know,
Okay, awesome.
watch a lot of TV.
What's something that most people don't know about you, and you're happy to share it with the audience?
Well, I think my newest hobby, which is started during the pandemic, and now I'm becoming really addicted, is chess. I'm playing chess now with different algorithms. I play against the computer, and my goal is always to go to the next level. You know, there are many levels of chess, and I'm kind of intermediate level now. I'm kind of stuck at this level because I win sometimes and I lose a lot of times to my computer algorithm. So
You're beating your computer.
I'm beating sometimes, but I am beating beaten several times. I'll never reach, of course, the professional level, but it's good fun.
Yeah, I like play chess. Maybe at some point we can play
Oh,
with
I
each
could
other.
play a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, I'd like to ask you, what are you looking forward to do in the coming years, either personally or professionally?
Well, I still hope. I'm 69 years old, so I still hope to, you know, carry on with my research group and lab for maybe 10 more years or something like that. At the same time, I intend to play more and more golf and do more gardening, you know. So maybe, this is, these are my goals, you know.
Great.
I travel for once or while, say 3 or 4 times a year internationally. And I hope to continue to travel, to attend conferences mostly. So I hope to still continue to attend glass and physics conferences.
Awesome, great. At the end, I'll read some words, and you please tell me what these words bring to your mind. A glass.
Oh, glass for me is beauty, pleasure, excitement. I mean, I have dedicated a lot of my time to understanding and develop glass. I love glass.
Awesome. Life.
Oh, life is good for me. It's been good so far. I love my city, the weather, the country, my working life, my hobbies, my family, my 2 daughters, my wife. So I'm good. I love life.
Great, awesome. Regret. Do you have any regret?
Good Lord. I cannot think of any major regrets right now. If you give me a couple of days, maybe I can write back to you and give some, but right now I cannot.
So it's great. Awesome. If there were a time travel machine, you wanted to go 100 years ago or 100 years later?
Ooh, okay. I may go to the future. I'm a guy of the future. I would go in the future.
Awesome, awesome. You would like to see what's happening in the future.
Yes, yes. Love to see it.
And if there were a parallel life, I don't know, another imaginary life, what's your job in that life?
Oh, okay. Another life, imaginary world. Maybe I could be a medical doctor or an architect. Very, very widely different things, but
Yeah.
I think I could use, if I could use this knowledge that I have about science to treat people, would be nice. Or to
Yeah.
deal with diseases, I think it would be nice. On the other hand, I'd love to do gardening and landscaping and architecture also.
Great, awesome, awesome. So, is there anything that you would like to talk about I didn't ask?
No, thank you very much, and I like to see your version of this interview.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for actually your time. It was so exciting, and I hope that I see you again in the future and do some collaboration with you.
Of course. You are an NMR guy, right?
Yes, yeah, I do NMR.
I'm always collaborating with NMR guys.
Great.
I'm always interested in understanding the structural details that drive a certain property or a phase transformation mechanism or a relaxation process and the structures behind all this, especially for glasses, because there's no microstructure in general, unless you crystallize it. But so there is a nice correlation between chemical composition, structure, and property. So structure is very important.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your time. Good. And have a good day. Thank you.
Have a good day. Okay.
So you usually go over there and play golf with your colleagues?
Yes, I normally on Friday afternoons I play golf.
Okay.
But today I'm not playing because of the surgery I had. So I cannot play for a few weeks.
So it's so exciting. I've never played golf. This is the first time I'm gonna be in a golf course.
Yeah, so this is the clubhouse, this is our golf course, and this is one of the best golfers that we have here, a scratch golfer. And he is also a pilot. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, let's walk.
Nice to meet you. Happy birthday.